X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling.
And good evening, everyone. It's another Wednesday night, and it's time for what? Kimberly, what are we going to do tonight?
Dolls.
Well, yeah, another episode of The Calling.
Calling, I know.
Yeah, we're going to talk about dolls. Everybody knows my favorite subject of all.
I know.
Yee.
It's going to be exciting for Jerry.
Well, the big exciting thing is that my friend of many years, I've always wanted her on the show, never knew about the dolls whatsoever. Never knew about them. Yeah, she kind of kept them a little secret. And then when she started talking about them and sent me pictures of all of them, then it's like, I'm really intrigued by it now, even though dolls still scare the HE double toothpicks out of me and stuff. But she's got, there's one doll in particular that I don't know what it is, but we'll be talking about that one later on in the show. That's actually really cool. I kind of like it. So, Reeni Rodriquez, doll healer, are you with us there?
I am. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So, just kind of give everybody a rundown on how I know you is that Reeni had a house in Pelican Rapids, and she got a hold of my team, and she wanted us to come on out and check it out because it was haunted. And so we went out there a couple of times, and it was a haunted little place. And one thing that was so funny is that we had an investigator a while back. He was a Reverend Will Cunningham, very big guy. And Reeni had this little black chihuahua by the name of Carlos. And little dogs and me, we don't get along. But Carlos was so cool. I mean, he wasn't, he didn't sit there and shake like all the other chihuahuas and stuff. And then they look at you with those big heads and stuff. He was so cool. He jumped on the couch on the armrest and walked over to me just like he's saying, "Hey, I'm Carlos. What's your name, man?" He was so awesome. I love that little dog. But the thing that was so funny is that when Will walked in, he immediately went over to Reeni and let loose on her leg to show that that's his property.
Oh, that's funny.
It was really hilarious.
He did that a lot, though. I mean, with people, like, just to kind of say, like, hey, like, you're mine. Like, nobody else is going to take you. Which I thought was a little odd.
But he was a cool little boy. He was, that's the one little dog that I can say if Reeni was to say, I can't handle him anymore, you want to take him? I would have taken him in a heartbeat. And being a black chihuahua, that's bizarre. You don't see a lot of them.
No, you don't.
Mm-mm. No, no, I would have never given that dog up. I mean, I loved that dog. I mean, just love that dog.
Yeah, and now you have Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
She's so proud of her Rudy.
Oh, yeah, just proud.
She looks down. So anyway, what got you into dolls?
Well, the whole thing is I really thought that how can I kind of word this? Like, I really just wanted to release a spirit in the doll. Okay,
Okay.
I thought that I was going to be able to do that. But the problem that and I know Jerry and I have talked about this too, is I think I make them too comfortable where they just don't want to leave.
Mm.
And then I kind of wanted to know, like, why a spirit would want to attach itself to something, whether it be a doll, whether it be a picture, or just anything, because we all know that because I have pictures, I have rings, I have necklaces. I mean, that's just some of just a little collection that I have. Well, I can't even say it's a collection. It's just kind of there. But the dolls kind of intrigue me. Why a doll? I kind of want to know how that ticked. But like I said, the goal is to not just keep them at my house, because, I mean, clearly I don't want them just hanging out. But some of them just don't want to leave. So, like I said, the goal is to make sure that they go to wherever they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever, however that works.
So help them. You're just looking to heal them inside so that they'll either, kind of go on to the other side and then they'll be happier, right?
Well, right. But if I keep making it very comfortable here, they're never going to leave.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's the problem.
That's like a relative, once they dig their nails into your home, they just don't want to leave.
No, they're like, some of them are just not leaving. Yeah, they're never going to leave.
No, not at all. I hear you. So now with your dolls, how do you get them? People just send them to you, or?
They do. And sometimes I'll pay for postage if I know that they're haunted. I don't want just a doll just to have a doll. I'm not a, doll collector or porcelain dolls or anything like that. That is not something that I'm interested in. Actually, the truth of the matter is I used to be afraid of dolls. I didn't play with them growing up, maybe some Barbies here and there, but I don't know.
No, I hear you. I never collected Barbies, though.
No, like I said, they usually do. And, usually they'll have like a backstory that somebody has already kind of gathered. So then I kind of try to see if that story kind of lines up. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it really just doesn't. It really doesn't.
Gotcha. So, now, have some people actually kind of said to you, hey, I want you to buy this doll from me, or I'll sell it to you at this amount of price and stuff?
They have. But, okay, but I feel like, and this is just my opinion, I feel like some people are, like, selling off these dolls like they sell Pokemon cards or trading them or something on that order. And we have to remember that there is a spirit inside of that doll. I mean, how do you put a price tag on that?
Right.
Like, this doll is worth $100. Well, how do you know? How is that spirit worth $100?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To me, that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, that spirit, used to be, an actual person. So how can you put a price tag on that? You don't put a price tag on your kids.
Right. I believe that.
That's true. So, but your main goal is to help them, move them on. And what would you do with the vessel, just the body itself?
I donate it, or, there's plenty of little girls that would love just like a beautiful porcelain doll.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Goodwill, take it, or, take it someplace.
Right.
Anywhere, but,
Yeah. Steve B. in the chat room says, I think that haunted dolls have a dumb, evil spirit that are looking for a place to communicate to someone. Your thoughts?
A dumb, evil spirit?
Right.
I don't know about that. like, not a dumb evil spirit. Like, not all dolls are evil. Not every spirit in a doll is evil.
Right.
And even, again, we'll get into, I know that I have some dolls that are a little evil. I don't think that they're dumb. I just think that in their life, they are just kind of mean people. I mean, if you think about it, we can all be vicious people, evil people in our own way. But to sit there, I mean, and say they just need someone to communicate with. Obviously, all those dolls, they have a story. Those haunted dolls all have a story. They've all walked this earth at one point.
Right.
With what I have, I'm not saying that, you know, a demonic doll, which I know that we'll get into, I mean, that's a whole different thing. But everybody, they all have a story. And when we die, we all have a story.
Right, exactly. No, I agree with you on that. So when it comes to dolls, I mean, dolls, a spirit can actually go into a doll and get stuck, correct?
Well, I don't want to say that they technically get stuck. Okay, because again, I've always, and this is just my opinion, and that's all I'm going to do is just give my opinion and my personal experience. They're free to leave that vessel. Mm-hmm. They can, if they have family that's still out there, I can guarantee that they are leaving that vessel, because that's all it is a vessel, and going to visit their family. But if they want to move on, who am I to stop them? I'm not going to stop them.
Right. Right. Okay. So let's see now. Let's bring some of the dolls out. Or Kim, I'm sorry. Do you have a question?
Yeah. No, I'm trying to talk to the people in the chat room. Well, when dolls first were created, the dolls were created because they.
Hope you broke up there, kid.
Souls. So back in time, they made dolls for, like, if their child died, that way the child could go into the doll, so they're able to keep the doll. So that's what one of the stories are. Is that's why these dolls were created at one point. You know, it was a very intimate thing for a parent, especially if they lost a child. You know, and especially if they lost a child, they would use the doll for the soul, or maybe, you know, to move into the doll. So that's why I'm pretty sure that's why Reenie finds all these different dolls, because a lot of these souls and these dolls have been there forever. You know, a lot of them not, you know, I'm not saying they get stuck, because I believe they don't get stuck either. There could be even a child who's very attached to a certain doll and may still want to play with that doll and still has an attachment to it. So I'm just trying to, you know, and let people understand a little bit about the whole doll thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's bring one of the dolls on here. As a matter of fact, did I do it already? I don't remember. So this doll, that's actually standing next to Reenie. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Come on. Got to wait for the computer here to put it on there. There we go. So what's the name of this doll right here, Reenie?
Her name is Charlie, and I will tell you, she is one of my favorite dolls.
What's the deal with her? She has no eyes.
She has no eyes. Okay. So the story actually does line up when I got the doll, which was kind of impressive. She actually is a dark witch. Okay. When she was younger, nobody really wanted to hang out with her. And a lot of her clients that would come, I don't know, to basically get a reading from her, were usually people that would cheat on their significant other. So basically, she made them go blind. You know, because now she's ticked off. She was never married. But I will tell you this, the cool thing about her is when she wants to communicate, and it's always when I'm like downstairs and I'm on the couch or something, and the next thing I know, she's like in my face. Like, hey, you know, we need to do this. And so, like I said, she's a really cool spirit to work with. Honestly, she's not going to move on. She's just, we've talked about it. It's just not going to happen. But
So,
go ahead.
oh, she's just there. She doesn't want any help or anything like that.
No, she doesn't. She basically wants somebody to understand her witchcraft, which is the darker side, which I don't practice, and she's not going to reveal to me that secret, because I guess it's been passed on from family member to family member. Now she doesn't have any children, so who's she going to pass that on to? Unless maybe one of my grandchildren practice witchcraft, and maybe that's what she's hanging around for. I don't know. I don't have any grandchildren yet. But what I'm
better
saying
not.
I better not either. But what I'm saying is it's a possibility. I mean, she could just be hanging around because I don't know what's going to happen. You know, and that's maybe one of my kids will practice witchcraft. I don't know. And maybe she's just hanging around for that.
Okay. Let's bring on another one. Let's see here. Who do we got? Okay, now this one looks really cute and everything, but I'm afraid of what you're going to tell me about it. Because that's the things about dolls. I mean, May, one of our investigators with Sim, we had a garage sale one time, and she had some dolls for sale. And there was this one in particular that looks a lot like this doll I'm about to put in the chat room. And she said, oh, Jerry, it's starting to rain. Can you put her back in the box? And it's like, no. It's like putting her in a coffin, you know. I'm not going to be the one that's going to put it over her head, and she's going to be mad at me. It's taking just a little bit here, folks. Sorry about this. Okay, there it is. Okay, who am I looking at here?
That is Audrey. And she's actually a doll that I actually did want. And she was posted on this website. And I always like to kind of go and look at what this person has for sale. And I'm not going to mention their names. But anyways, she actually found me. And I didn't pay for her. But I will say that she's actually one of those dolls, I can't say dolls, spirits, that will basically warn you when trouble is about to happen. So it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. So she's kind of one of those where she just kind of likes to hang around. It doesn't matter if I go to the store, pick up my kids from school. She's always there to warn me. But here's the problem. She still doesn't want to tell me how she passed. And again, she's still a new doll, so we're still kind of working out a couple quirks there. I will tell you that. But she is one of those dolls. She is a healer. She changes your mood. I got a couple healers. So she's fun to hang out with.
All right. And is she one of the ones that you said, is she the one that walks up the stairs?
She does. Okay. And I always, okay. We're going to talk about this really quickly. So I will say that I do lay boundaries down for new dolls that come into the house because they all have different things that they do. And I do have children, so I don't want them bothering them. But for some apparent reason, she just has this tendency. She's walking up and down the stairs, kind of going from room to room, just to kind of have that, hey, I'm here, but I'm not going to scare you. It's kind of like a check-in, is what I like to call it. But she does. She goes up and down the stairs.
I'm sorry. Any doll that just winds up like at the foot of my bed staring. That's that no, that, that's off limits. You know.
Well, you got to remember they don't understand the concept of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she's going to come and hang out in the middle of the night, who am I to stop her? I mean, she has boundaries, and each doll has different boundaries.
Okay. So I have a question here from actually one of the troops just emailed me, and their question is, well, where they're at right now, overseas, they have a doll that for some reason just kept showing up. There was no footprints or anything like that shows that the doll was brought there by somebody and dropped off. But it just seems like wherever they go, the doll seems to be moved in their quarters. So what they want to know is, will the doll in that country know what they're saying and what they're talking about? Or is it something that they just automatically know English? You know, does it have to be in the language of that? Is there a language barrier? I guess what he's saying.
Okay, so, and I found this kind of interesting because I love to watch YouTube. Okay, now there's this guy on there. I can't remember his name offhand, so it doesn't really matter. But he has this spirit box. And I had the exact same question. If I'm speaking English, how do I know that, this doll was, even spoke English? Or maybe the doll spoke Spanish. But to communicate with me, they're going to have to speak English. So when he was actually explaining this spirit box that he had, and it was a question that he had, and it made sense to me. If he spoke Spanish, he's going to get through his spirit box Spanish. So, in all actuality, they're going to communicate with me in a way that I understand, in a language I understand, because we have to remember, again, when it comes to working with spirits, I mean, have you guys ever experienced, when you guys are on an investigation, a spirit that speaks a different language than you? Yes. I mean, some people have and some people haven't.
Actually, yeah. It was Native American. What about you, Kimmy? What was...
Yeah, definitely.
What was the language, do you know?
Spanish.
Oh,
Spanish
okay.
and German, actually. There was 2 investigations. One was Spanish and the other was German. So, yeah.
Okay. Yep. What about your doll up there, Kim? Does that talk to you, or...
Well, Jerry, every time Jerry sees the doll, because Jerry gets to see it every time, he says it moves every time.
It's moved during the show, you freak.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So the thing is, the doll herself is not bad. But when you speak of her, because the client asked me to come get the doll because, of course, it moved and did whatever. And she said, please come check the doll. So so I came and got the doll from her, and she just looked innocent, just really dirty, and I was like, wow, and I'm thinking to myself, well, she kind of gave me that little bit of little spidey sensey thingy, and I said, well, let me go check it out. So we cleaned her up and everything, and she looks like one of those big walking dolls. I don't, but more of a smaller scale, like if you could hold her hand and she can walk. So sometimes I wonder if she does, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, so we cleaned her up and everything, and we did an investigation on the doll. We sat her down, we put a K2 meter, and she has these little stabbing marks on her body. And the client doesn't know where the stabbing marks come from. And they weren't there before, she said. So she doesn't know if somebody, mistreated her and didn't like her. Like I said, she was in the attic, she was in the basement, she was in the garage. She's been in different places of that house. So who's to say? We don't know for sure. All I know is when I ask her about those markings, the K2 goes off every time. So to me, it was like a traumatic thing, maybe. She didn't like what they were doing to her. I don't know for sure. All I know is the K2 goes off. So who's to say? Yeah, and I just think it's sad, actually, that the K2 goes. I think it's just sad. To me, it's heartbreaking to know that she must have went through something. Who knows for sure? I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Right. So, Reeni, do you have dolls that have stab marks and everything else? I mean, I'm sure when you get them, you have to go through every inch of them and write down and be marking and everything else and stuff, right?
I actually keep a folder of what I was told, and then when I work with it all, then I have another piece of paper of my findings. And I'm not saying that I'm 110% correct.
Right.
Because sometimes it doesn't mean that this doll is going to come forth and talk to me right that second. But I have not. I've had a couple from like an antique store that I've gotten. And it one has like no hair. And that one, there's something about that one. I like that one. But there's something about it. Other than that, no, I haven't. They're older dolls or antique dolls. They start peeling. So you have to be very careful of that. But other than that, no, I haven't. I haven't had any dolls like that.
Wow. Okay, but each doll that you have does have a story to it, right?
Yes, I always have. Usually when people send me something, they're saying, okay, well, this doll's doing this, and it's doing this, and it's doing that, or it's giving me nightmares, or, whatever. And usually when they're in my house, I don't experience what they experience. And I'm not saying that they were wrong. It's just maybe their home wasn't appropriate either.
Huh. All right. So I'm going to put another one up here. It's coming slowly but surely. Okay, so anyway, I'll keep talking while that one's loading up. So out of any of these here, is there one in particular that you are, afraid of?
Actually, now that you just posted that picture, and that is the one, Natalie.
You're afraid of her? Why?
I'm not technically afraid of her. Okay?
She looks kind of like
what? Wait a minute, you guys froze. What's that?
Oh, she looks kind of, that B word.
Yeah,
right?
She is.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
she is. And I know that I'm not allowed to cuss on here, but I will tell you this: she has called me every single name in the book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I can get that off that doll.
Right. And and here's the thing. I'm one of those people. I'm like, oh wow, she's got, are those eyelashes? They're not painted on. So I, touched them, and it's like, don't touch my face. And I'm like, oh gosh, I got it. But like I said, she's one time told me that she was going to punch me in the face, which is kind of bizarre.
Yeah. She's only got a little fist.
I know, but that spirit might come out and, beat me in the middle of the night. I'm not sure. That doll is a negative doll.
Why would you want to keep that one, though?
Okay, hear me out about this.
Okay.
And I know this is going to sound crazy. Okay, now she's in my hands. She's not going to beat me up. Let's just be honest. She's not going to. But if this doll falls in the wrong hands and really causes harm to somebody, that's on me. So
no, not even that. It's like me and Ouija boards. If I see somebody at a thrift store picking up a Ouija board, I hand them my Cat Paranormal card, because you eventually, or I'll buy them out. I'll buy, if they're in the thrift store, I'll buy them because I already know that they're used, and it's better to bound them. I understand completely, Reeni, completely, especially her.
I'm telling you, I feel like just looking at her, she's pointing her finger at me and why are you talking about me? That's just she's got that bad attitude, Thank God she's downstairs because every time I walk by her, I always get this thing like, okay, I'm going to stand, like, I'm going to social distance from you because this is not going to work. Like, I don't, you know, it's the weirdest thing.
Is that a middle finger she's got up? I'm just kidding. Everybody's looking at her.
Where? No, I hope not. But like, that's kind of how you feel. Like, I worked with her, and I thought, oh no, we're done. So.
Well, here, let's go to break, and then we'll be back, and we're going to discuss more of Miss Congeniality there. So we'll be right back, folks, in about 2 minutes.
Oh, hey, Steph. Hey. It's a Taffy Tuesday today, Heidi. Taffy Tuesday. I don't know, Steph. That's kind of a stretch. Well, you know, we want to give everyone something to chew on.
Tune in to the Gathering Radio Show Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid of? Horror Paranormal Show Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
Para X. Source for everything paranormal. Para X.
And we're back. This is Jerry with The Calling, along with Kimberly Juarez and my friend Reeni Rodriquez, doll healer. And if you like our show but you didn't hear the first half of it, shame on you. But you'll be able to listen to it tomorrow. You can go to www.thecallingradioshow.com or go to YouTube, The Calling Radio Show. And don't just stop at this show, you guys. There's like tons of shows on Para X to listen to. You have Geeks Paranormal right after my show. You have Shauna. She's ready to rip out something. I don't know. But then also on Tuesday nights, you have The Gathering. Stephanie and Heidi, they sit around that metaphysical table. They do shots and they eat expensive chocolate. So, I mean, no, they do a great job. You'll love them. There's also tons of other shows, too. I mean, all sorts of genres. So check it out, paraxradionetwork.com. All right, so now we're talking about this cute little doll that loves people. What's its name again?
Okay, doesn't love people. Her name is Natalie.
Natalie.
And,
okay, so with Natalie, you have to kind of treat it like kid gloves or what?
Basically, and I know everybody has told me put her in a case, and it's not going to stop her from being mean. She's technically not bothering anybody, but I do know that she just doesn't care for me. And I've asked her if she wanted another home, because I would be more than happy to find her another home, good home. And the answer was no, and there was some other words that I'm not allowed to repeat. So right now she's just going to stay with me.
Okay.
I love it.
So do you think this is going to be one that you can actually pass to another or again?
My goal is to hopefully help her pass on, try to figure out why she's so mean. Because that's the best I have. But I think she's kind of worried about where she may go.
Okay. Like, where would that be? To hell?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't judge her on where she's going to go. I told her wherever she needs to go and pass on is I can't help her. I can pray for her, but I can't.
Okay. Well, let's see now. Let's bring another one up
Hey.
here. What's that? Okay. Bringing up another one here. Just going to take a moment to get the picture up. All right.
And Steve B is asking, Kat, what do you do with the Ouija boards? So I haven't been in a thrift store and I haven't seen Ouija boards in a while. So I only have 4. So just letting you guys know, and they're bounded. And I'm actually supposed to be sending them to John Zaffis, but he says he has so much of a collection, it's crazy. So I think they're okay. They're not bothering anybody. So I just keep them put away. That's about it. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, I know that there's Martha and Stephanie Carpenter. If you decide, Reenie, that you do want to get rid of some, or if they just are not sitting well, what they do is they do investigations, and then they properly try to just, get them to leave the body, or they just deal with them. You know what I mean?
No, and I understand what you mean, but like I said, it's just going to be, I'm going to work with her just a little bit more and see where we're at. Because like I said, she's kind of new here, and I'm wondering if she kind of was passed around a lot. And, that's to make you can't even do that with kids. You can't just pass them around. So like I said, she probably went from one home to another, and it probably just ticked her off. But I see in the chat, here's the problem. She has not given me her name.
This doll here?
No, she will not. She's claiming that she is a princess, but she will not give me her name, which is fine. I've asked her like a zillion times. This doll is actually a healer.
Mm-hmm. You can tell.
Yes, very much so. If you're not feeling well, you kind of take her out, kind of work with her a little bit, tell her kind of what you need. I do that with the kids that I have, and sometimes myself. But other than that, she just said in her lifetime she was a healer. So, and she wants to be treated like one, but she's not moving on either. So she's not anything negative. I think she's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, she is very pretty.
But she's not one to roam around my house, though, either. So that I cannot figure out why, but she kind of like pops in. I think that she may still have some family someplace because occasionally she's not here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
like I said, when I need her, she's here. And I know like the last couple months she hasn't left for personal reasons. But like I said, she's here. She's a healer and she's great to have around. But the only problem is she's not, I can't just give her to, let's say, like one of you guys were sick. I can't say, okay, we'll go ahead and, heal them.
Right.
For her, it doesn't work like that. It's just for people in this house. She's,
Gotcha.
especially with animals. I mean, she's great with them.
Right. Now, curiosity, your daughter Torgen is the one that I've mentioned many times on the show, your daughter. She's 11 years old now.
Yeah, she is.
Yep, and she's a little psychic, and she's pretty awesome. This kid has really blown me away on a lot of stuff that we've investigated at your place, and just other things too that when I've talked to her and everything else. So is there any particular doll that's taken a liking to her?
We haven't got to that one yet.
Okay, well, let's go to this one here. Who is this?
This is Jen. Okay, and I will say that she is a little awesome spirit. Here's the problem with Jen. Backstory a little bit. She had a disabled child, and that child was constantly getting picked on by her husband. So she kind of poisoned him, and then she took her own life. That's her story. But here's where the problem lies, because she is so protective. Let's say that one of you guys came to my house, and you guys were kind of being mean, and we kind of got into an argument. She is going to give you the worst migraine that you've ever had, that you're going to run out of my house. And I'm not trying to sound mean about this, but my ex-mother-in-law was she hated that doll. She absolutely hated that doll, because we would get into a little tiff, and next thing you know, she had to leave because she had a really bad migraine. That's not my fault. I mean, I can't control what that doll does. I'm sorry that you have a headache, but you should have known better.
This was your mother-in-law?
Yes.
So you paid the doll off to do this?
No, I never paid anybody off to do it, okay? I really did not think that she would ever do that. And if she's not, trust me, it's not the first time she's, done this. But she's very protective of the people in her house. And I like that because, like I said, I have children. And I mean, and these are just the tip of the iceberg of what I have. I mean, I have all kinds. I have one that I love to death, too. He's protective of women and children, so he's nice to have around, too, which I don't have a picture offhand with Curtis there. But they all do serve a purpose. And, like I said, I want them to move on. I don't want them to stay here and give somebody a headache or, have to sit here and heal me all the time. That's not right. I'm not here to live in a house full of spirits either. I want them to, there is an afterlife for them, and that's where they need to be. I'm not in the how do I want to word it? Like spirit keeping. I know a lot of people do that, and I don't care for that.
Oh, I understand. I get that. Okay, let's see what we got next here. Okay, now this one's very interesting. This one I kind of felt it before you told me exactly what it is. Just take a second here, you guys. Boy, this computer is very slow tonight. I know that cell phones are being affected by sunspots. So can internet possibly? No, is there any of them that like Odin, your son, takes into?
No, he...
Oh, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Odin does not like the dolls. He calls them creepy dolls.
Okay, him and we'd get along great.
And that's, he's 4, so he doesn't, I don't know, he's Odin. The doll in the picture, she is a fairy. Her name is Hilda.
Hilda.
Now, she is a trickster. I'm going to tell you that right now. I value my car keys. And she will hide them if you don't offer her something, whether it be something shiny, I should say. That's really what it is. You have to offer her something shiny. Otherwise, she will take jewelry, car keys, anything of value she will take. That's her story. There really wasn't much, and when I worked with her, it was pretty much, you need to do what I want you to do. That's it.
That's what she was claiming to you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And
her original home was like that too, and they said they lost everything. They were constantly. But then I found out the home before she actually helped them out, and they were finding money, they were doing all that. She has never done that for me. She's just a trickster. She wants me to basically give in to her. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe she's upset because I haven't made a fairy house for her, which I probably should get started on that, but we'll see how that happens.
Gotcha. Doesn't take that much to make one,
I know it doesn't, but you have to remember, I still have to work with every single one of my dolls.
Right.
And I have to rotate. And if I did something just for this doll, I would have to do it for every other doll, including Natalie, who's, Okay, this one, her name is Deb. Okay, there's 2 spirits attached to this doll. Here's where it gets sticky. Torgan likes this doll. It doesn't bother her. Yeah, we all need a fairy house. This one has 2 sides to her, Deb, and then there's a male attached to it. And I will tell you that her face does change from white to gray. I originally got her, and they claimed that she caused nightmares, she asked for blood, and they basically just boxed her up and then sent her to me. Never once has she asked me for blood. I wouldn't give it to her anyways. But like I said, there's a female and male attached to that doll. So you can tell when they kind of switch and they come out. She's just an evil doll, period. She's not demonic. It's very rare to find demonic dolls anyways. And I know a lot of people are like, no, that's not true. It is true. Nobody's going to get the Annabelle doll. This doll, just me, and she's never caused any bad dreams. Her and Torgan get along great. But, again, it's still one of those things, like, you still have to watch out. She's not as bad as Natalie, but there really isn't any backstory to her besides the fact that there's just 2 well, I can't say personalities, there's just 2 spirits attached to her. And the only thing, I cannot get the male's name, but I can get the female's name, and it's Deb. But like I said, the face changes colors. So when I have the light color, it's the male. When I have the darker color, it's the female. No, I'm sorry, I have that wrong. Lighter color, it's the female. Darker color is the male. That's my fault. Hard to keep her faces together. And I know Steve B asked how I communicate with my dolls. I have a pendulum. I kind of use the spirit box that I had. I wasn't too thrilled with it. And I'm going to say that I did use a spirit board, and I only use them when talking to my dolls. And I know that there's a little bit of everybody's got their own opinions on that, but I have mine on that too. I have a K2 meter, so I kind of know how that kind of goes. And then there was another one, and telepathically, you can tell. I mean, just like Kim, like your doll, you can't figure out how you got scars on there, but telepathically, you know kind of what's going on. And I always have Torgan to tell me too, like, hey, and I've, given her pictures before I even open up the doll, and I'm asking her, hey, like, what are you feeling from this? So she's a pretty good reader on that. Again, like I said, I've used a board. I've used a spirit box. I've used a pendulum. I mean, it's just kind of whatever comes to you. Because, like, I know, like, some of them do not communicate through spirit boards. Some of them won't talk to you through a pendulum or any of that. So, last one. And I know this is Jerry's favorite one. And mine, too. She's beautiful.
Yeah, for some reason, out of all the dolls, that this one is the one that I think is a gorgeous doll. And I don't really feel anything bad from it.
There's nothing bad from her at all. And she is a white witch.
And this is Rihanna.
Yes. Rihanna, yes. Okay, I'm 4'11", so she comes up to about my waist. So she's a big doll.
Wow.
But she wasn't into organized religion. I got that from her very, very strongly. And she married somebody who was an atheist. Fine, whatever. She practiced white magic. And from what I'm gathering, it was basically what she considered white magic was using, like, the earth and not conjuring up, like, the devil or anything like that. It was more of, like, if I had a fertility problem, she would have a spell for that. So that's that. But then she had children, and that kind of went out the window. So basically, I'm not asking her to conjure up anything for me or anything like that. She just happens to, again, roam my house, and somebody kind of needs something. Again, I work with them, and they're like, okay, well, do you need that? And it's like, no, I don't really technically need that. We're going to be okay, you know? So she's a cool little spirit to have around.
Cool. Kim, I've been talking up a storm. Go ahead. You've got tons of questions. I can see it in your eyes.
Well, the thing is, Reenie, what made you start collecting dolls? Was it something that you were fascinated by, or?
Okay, so I have some friends who think that it's great to take these haunted dolls to these locations like it's some kind of wonderful thing to do and try to scare people or see what they can come up with. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, you guys do know that there is a spirit attached to that. Here they didn't respect it.
Right.
If I could respect the spirit that is in that doll and try to help it move on, then I've done something different than just basically hoarding spirits in my house. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I got into that. And like I said, I don't want to just keep them here. They all have to go eventually. They can't stay with me.
Right. But if you can send them to a good home and, you know, you're helping them, you know, move on or whatnot. I'm collecting, this is funny that you talk about dolls. I was just messaged about a doll. And so I'm getting the doll the end of the week. So, yeah.
There you go.
So I'm doing a little research on the doll. You know, and I'm kind of like you, you know, especially like with spirit boards. Like, okay, yeah, I get the boards. I put them away. I get them away from people. Because there's some things that they don't know how to use them. They don't know how to close them. You know, they'll just bring things in. I have one board that ignited a car on fire. You know, it's already done like a couple of things, and I guess her boyfriend told her, get rid of the board. You need to get rid of the board. And, you know, she knows you just can't burn boards. So she just told me, can you please take the board? So I had to go pick up the board from the burning car, you know, and bound it. And what I do is use blessed salt, and I use a real thick bag of some sort, like a sack or something, but you can't really, I try not to you can't let the board see through it, you know, because I feel like it's not bounded enough. And I close up the bag, and right now they're underneath my stairway. But there's actually 3 of them. I think 3. And then I have some that have never been used. But anyways, I don't know. I've never used boards. I never have. But like I said, like we're going to be picking up a doll here pretty soon, and I'm kind of like you, Reenie. I have this thing about haunted things, and I've always have. So I don't know, you know. And people may think I'm crazy, but you know, there are things that are out there.
There is things that are out there, and I don't think anybody is crazy for doing that. And like I said, I just wanted to help them. I don't want to keep them. I just wanted to help them. Because if I was trapped, or I can't even say trapped, but if I was like, you know, a spirit inside like a vessel, I'd want somebody to help me and say, okay.
Oh, you froze.
It's okay for you.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Say that again, Reenie.
No. Like I said, if it was me that was like, you know, using a doll as a vessel, I'd want somebody like me to come along and say, hey, you know, it's time to, let's move on. But like I said, I kind of, and Jerry and I have had this conversation too. You make it way too comfortable for them. But I don't want them to, I don't want to be mean either, because they were an actual human being, and you should treat them with respect.
Right.
Right. Well, you know, I respect what you do and everything, because the paranormal is so huge, and there's so much, and there's new stuff coming out, it seems like maybe things that have been there for years and years and years and nobody's seen it, and there's different types of paranormal, like dolls, like
haunted objects, like John Zaffis. He has a collection, a huge collection, just like the Warrens and everybody. But he is so, what does he say? He tells me, well, if you send me the spirit boards, I can't really do anything with them yet for another year. That's how backed up he is with haunted objects. So, because he does a lot of research on them. So it takes him a while before he can get your haunted object. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing, So it's good for you, Reenie, that somebody can bring these objects and you're able to take them and do something with them. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I said, there's a limit on what I will take. And, I'm probably, I want to say, like, I just got dumped, like, a 55-gallon tub of dolls that I still have to go through.
Oh, my God. That's a nightmare there.
Right, but I still, and, mind you, I still have to deal with those. Plus, the ones that I have, because like I said, they still need companionship. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you're just using spirits as a companion. That's not what I'm doing. I have many friends that I can call and talk to and, an actual whole life. But like I said, at night I do have to sit and I do have to work with them because, like I said, just because they don't want to move on a month ago, maybe that they want to do that now. And how can I help you? Like, what would make your transition easier?
So I have one more question real quick. So, Reenie, what do you do to be able to help these dolls? I mean, are you like a empath of some sort or someone that, tell me how you use your tools or your, you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing, and I know Jerry and we've talked about this. I don't consider myself an empath or any of that or a medium or anything like that. I have a daughter, and she's very helpful, and I know that Jerry has taught her and taught myself a lot of interesting things, and I've taken that and kind of put my own twist on that. So again, it's, we have I forgot about the dowsing rods, pendulums, all that kind of stuff. If they're ready to go, let's do it. How can I make it easier? Like, do I need to, what kind of ceremony do you want, I guess, in a way that I would ask? And if we can do it, let's do it. Whether it be, I know that I use jasmine incense to talk to one doll individual, or one doll that we're not going to discuss. But like I said, if it's a certain kind of sage or whatever, let's do it. Let's move them on.
Right. Gotcha. Well, we've got, this has been a very interesting hour here. I so appreciate you coming on, Reenie. Like I said, it's been a long time. And with the dolls that we have right there that we talked about, I'd like to have you back on in, say, 30 days and kind of talk about what kind of progress that has come through. And if possible, I would love to have Torgen come on with you. Would that be, do you think would be okay?
No, I'm sure she'd love that.
Okay, that would be good, because then I would like to get, her point of view on the dolls and everything. So cool. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening. We really appreciate it. We're coming to the end of the hour. I want to thank the troops for listening and for their questions. I also want to thank, of course, Kimberly Juarez and my guest, Reeni Rodriquez.
Thank you, Reenie.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And Para X and Sarge, you're the greatest. And Para X chat room is just the best.